The stadium was already trembling long before the moment happened. Not from noise alone, not from chance, not even from the electric tension that only the Champions League can create. No, this was something heavier, something historic. Because on nights like these, football stopped being a sport. It became mythology. Under the floodlights of Turin, inside the colossal arena of Juventus, thousands of black and white scarves waved like storm clouds across the stands. The air carried expectation, pride, fear, hope. And somewhere beneath all that pressure stood a man who had spent his entire life destroying limits. Cristiano Ronaldo. By then, the world already knew his name. Children copied his celebrations in schoolyards. Defenders feared the sight of him accelerating toward goal. Goalkeepers prayed before facing him. And yet, somehow, he was still finding ways to shock football itself. Because greatness was never enough for Ronaldo. He wanted immortality. Across from him stood Juventus, one of the most ruthless defensive teams Europe had ever seen. Disciplined, cold, relentless. And guarding their goal was a living legend, Gianluigi Buffon, a goalkeeper whose presence alone could make strikers hesitate. Buffon wasn't just experienced, he was football royalty, World Cup winner, captain, leader, an icon whose reflexes had saved Juventus countless times across decades of warlike European nights. Many called him the last great guardian of old-school goalkeeping, and tonight he was standing between Ronaldo and history. Again. The atmosphere inside the stadium crackled with tension as players emerged from the tunnel. The Juventus fans roared like thunder. The Champions League anthem echoed across the arena. And for a brief second, cameras caught Ronaldo's face, calm, focused, almost emotionless. But those who understood greatness knew what that expression meant. Danger. Because Ronaldo lived for moments like this. Pressure didn't scare him. Pressure fed him. Every hostile crowd, every impossible angle, every elite defender, every legendary goalkeeper. They were all invitations. Invitations to prove he was something beyond human. The referee blew the whistle, and instantly the game exploded into intensity. Juventus pressed hard. Every tackle felt personal. Every challenge carried aggression. The Italian giants knew something important. If you gave Ronaldo even half a second, he could destroy you. Madrid moved the ball carefully, patiently, searching for cracks in Juventus's armor. But Buffon barked commands constantly from his goal. Left, right, push higher, stay compact. He controlled the defensive line like a battlefield general. For years, Europe had tried to break Juventus down. Very few succeeded, and even fewer embarrassed Buffon. The opening minutes became a war of intelligence. Juventus defended with discipline. Madrid searched for rhythm. And Ronaldo waited, watching, studying, like a predator calculating the perfect moment to strike. Then suddenly, the first warning arrived. A quick movement down the flank. A dangerous cross whipped into the area. Ronaldo darted between defenders with explosive timing. For a split second, the stadium froze. He connected. The shot flashed toward goal. But Buffon reacted instantly. A strong hand pushed the ball away. The crowd erupted. Buffon screamed in celebration. Ronaldo turned away silently. No frustration, no panic, just focus. Because legends understand something ordinary players never do. One chance missed means another chance is coming. And Ronaldo always believed the next moment belonged to him. Minutes passed. The game intensified further. Juventus tried to impose themselves physically. Madrid answered with speed and movement. Every duel felt brutal. Every touch mattered. Then came the breakthrough. It started almost innocently. A movement down the right side, quick passing, sharp acceleration. Juventus defenders shifted nervously. And then, the ball was delivered into the area. Ronaldo attacked it with terrifying instinct. One touch, clean, precise, goal. Silence. A horrifying silence. Inside their own stadium, Juventus fans stood frozen. Madrid players exploded in celebration. And Ronaldo sprinted toward the corner flag with fire in his eyes. 1-0. He had struck again. Buffon stared ahead in frustration. He had seen greatness countless times before. Messi, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Ronaldo Nazario. But Cristiano Ronaldo brought something different, an obsession, a hunger that never stopped. Even after hundreds of goals, even after trophies, even after Ballon d'Or awards, he still attacked matches like a man trying to prove himself for the first time. That terrified defenders, because there was no version of Ronaldo that relaxed. The game restarted. Juventus responded aggressively. The crowd tried lifting their team, and for stretches, the Italians pushed Madrid backward. Crosses flew into the box, shots came from distance, but Madrid resisted. Still, the tension inside the stadium kept rising, because despite Madrid leading, everyone sensed the match was balanced on a knife edge. One mistake could change everything. Then came the moment football would replay forever, the moment that would transform admiration into disbelief. It began with speed. Madrid surged forward again. The attack developed rapidly down the flank. Juventus defenders scrambled into position. The cross arrived awkwardly, too high, too difficult, too impossible, at least for ordinary players. But Cristiano Ronaldo had spent his entire career redefining what impossible meant. As the ball floated through the air, time slowed. Ronaldo adjusted his body. One step, another. Then suddenly, he launched himself into the sky. Not jumped, launched. It looked unnatural, like gravity itself had lost control. His body rose higher and higher above the defenders. The stadium gasped. Even Buffon's eyes widened. And then, perfection. Ronaldo twisted midair and struck the ball with an overhead kick so clean, so violent, so technically impossible that reality itself seemed to pause. Boom! The sound echoed across the stadium. The ball exploded toward goal. Buffon reacted instantly, but deep down, he already knew. This was unstoppable. The shot flew past him with terrifying speed. Into the net. Goal! For 1 second, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Even Juventus supporters stood frozen in disbelief. Because they hadn't just witnessed a goal, they had witnessed art. Pure, footballing art. Then the stadium erupted. Not in anger, not in hatred, in awe. Thousands of Juventus fans rose to their feet, applauding an opposing player, applauding the man who had just destroyed them. Because some moments transcend rivalry. Some moments force even enemies to respect greatness. And this was one of those moments. Ronaldo landed on the turf and spread his arms wide, calm, powerful, unbreakable. His teammates ran toward him screaming. Marcelo looked completely stunned. Even Madrid's bench exploded into chaos. But perhaps the most iconic image came from Buffon himself. The legendary goalkeeper stared at Ronaldo with a mixture of frustration and admiration. Because after decades in football, after facing the greatest attackers in history, the game eventually moved toward its conclusion. Madrid controlled possession, Juventus struggled emotionally, and Ronaldo continued tormenting defenders with endless movement. But deep down, everyone already knew the match belonged to that goal. Nothing else mattered anymore, because football fans had just witnessed something timeless. After the final whistle, cameras followed Buffon closely. The legendary goalkeeper approached Ronaldo, and despite the pain of defeat, there was respect. Pure respect. Two icons of football acknowledging greatness. Buffon understood how rare moments like this truly were. Most players spend entire careers without producing one unforgettable moment. Ronaldo created them repeatedly, year after year, season after season, on. He knew exactly what he had just seen. A masterpiece. The replays made it even more unbelievable. Different angles revealed the absurdity of Ronaldo's athleticism. His leap, the height, the timing, the balance, the precision. Everything about it looked impossible. Commentators lost control of their voices. Fans across the world screamed at televisions. Social media exploded within seconds. People replayed the strike again and again, searching for logic. but there was none. This wasn't logic. This was Cristiano Ronaldo operating beyond human expectation. And perhaps the most incredible detail of all was the stage. Not against a weak opponent, not in an ordinary match, not against an inexperienced goalkeeper. This happened against Juventus, against Buffon, on the biggest nights in football. That elevated the goal into legend, because pressure creates true greatness. And Ronaldo always became most dangerous when the pressure was unbearable. As the match continued, Juventus players looked mentally shaken. How do you recover from witnessing something like that? How do defenders regroup after watching a man fly through the air like a superhero? Even the crowd felt emotionally conflicted. Their team was suffering, yet they knew they had witnessed history. The applause for Ronaldo continued long after the goal, and for a player obsessed with proving himself, that respect meant everything. Cristiano Ronaldo had spent years hearing criticism. Too arrogant, too obsessed, too selfish. But nights like this reminded the world why his mentality separated him from everyone else. Because nobody trained harder, nobody pushed their body further, nobody chased perfection with such relentless fury. That bicycle kick wasn't luck. It was years of obsession, years of discipline, years of impossible standards. While others rested, Ronaldo trained. While others celebrated, Ronaldo improved. Every sprint, every jump, every movement, everything was calculated. Everything was sharpened. And on this night in Turin, all of it came together in one impossible moment. Even rival fans admitted it openly. They had never seen anything quite like it. And maybe the most poetic part of the story was this. The goal happened against Gianluigi Buffon, a goalkeeper respected across generations, a symbol of defensive excellence. For Ronaldo to score that goal against him made the moment eternal, because greatness is measured by opposition, and Ronaldo conquered one of football's greatest guardians in spectacular fashion. But the story didn't end there. In many ways, that night strengthened Ronaldo's legend permanently. It reminded the world that his brilliance wasn't only about numbers, not just statistics, not just trophies, not just records. It was about moments. Moments that made millions of people jump from their seats, moments that made crowds lose their minds, moments that forced even enemies to applaud. That's true greatness, and Cristiano Ronaldo mastered it better than almost anyone in history. As years passed, football evolved. New stars emerged, young talents captured headlines. But that goal remained untouched in football culture. Every time conversations about the greatest Champions League moments appeared, Turin returned. The bicycle kick returned. Ronaldo flying through the air returned. Because some images never fade. And perhaps deep inside, Ronaldo himself understood exactly how special that moment was. Not because it added another goal to his career total, but because it captured everything he represented. Fearlessness, dedication, athletic perfection, confidence, and an endless desire to shock the world again and again. Even now, when fans watch the replay, disbelief still arrives. How did he jump that high? How did he strike the ball so perfectly? How did Buffon have absolutely no chance? Questions remain, answers never fully come. Because certain moments in sports escape explanation. They belong to magic. And on that unforgettable night against Juventus, Cristiano Ronaldo created magic that football will remember forever. The floodlights eventually dimmed. The fans slowly left the stadium. The noise faded into the night air of Turin. But one thing remained alive long after the final whistle. A single image. Cristiano Ronaldo suspended above the ground, defying gravity, defying logic, defying history itself. And behind him, Gianluigi Buffon watching helplessly as the ball crashed into the net. An immortal moment, an impossible goal. A reminder that sometimes in football, greatness doesn't just win matches. Sometimes, greatness creates eternity.